all, my friends. I was promising myself I wasn't going to be talking a lot about politics on my main channel. But as I get to working on this today, something happened this week that I really am so furious about. ICE, in arresting somebody, decided to start lobbing tear gas at the people that were protesting and saying that, no, please don't. This is an American citizen you're going after, and we've got it on film. And well, they started lobbing tear gas, and there was a baby in a baby seat, sitting on the ground by her father. Father picks the baby up and starts running to the car. That baby got tear gassed. This is what you voted for? All you pro-life people? You don't care that little children, babies, infants, in car seats, helpless infants are being tear gassed by the Gestapo that works for Trump. Is this what you voted for? The amount of violence and cruelty that I am seeing in the name of this administration is horrendous. Lives are being affected. Generations of lives are being affected. That little baby is going to be traumatized for the rest of her life. Because I don't think she was even 6 months old. And her father had to carry her out of tear gas and wash her face down and take her to the emergency room. Probably because she was tear gassed by people that had no business having it in their possession. Do you realize that tear gas has been banned for use in war? But yet we're allowed to use it on our own citizens? This is what we voted for? This is what you voted for? You don't care. I'm going to see videos of people laughing about it. And I'm going to have to look at that and say, wow, that says a whole lot about you. I don't like to talk about things like this because it kind of falls under the gossip thing. And I'm very much against gossip. But this is something that affects little children. And it's going to affect you and me and everyone else. This regime wants us to live in fear of walking down the street, of driving our car to go to work. You don't know when somebody's going to decide to flip a U-turn and ram into your car and then drag you out of your car at gunpoint, beat the crap out of you when you're on your way to work. That's already happened. And the lady that it happened to, she was shipped from one place to another place to another place to another place, so her lawyer and her family couldn't find where she was before they finally let her go without any charges and dropped the charges they had on her. Because there was video evidence that the ICE agents had rammed into her car, not the other way around. There's so much that is going on right now that is so terrible. And they want us to be afraid. They don't care if you're Republican or a Democrat or an independent. They don't care if you're white or black or yellow or brown or red. They want you to be afraid so that you'll toe the line and do exactly what Donald Trump says, think exactly the way he thinks, act exactly the way he acts. They want a dictatorship, an authoritarian government in which freedom of speech, freedom of thought, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness have all been taken away. You wanted women's rights taken away. That's why you voted the way you did. You wanted free speech taken away. That's why you voted the way you did. You only want to be the ones, you want to be the only ones with free speech. And you want to be free of consequences. But freedom of speech doesn't say that you're free of consequences. It only says that you're free to speak, and the government cannot do anything to you for having an opinion. But Donald Trump wants that freedom taken away so that the only opinions that are allowed are those that line up with his. This is what you voted for. I really, really hope everybody's happy with what they voted for. Because you fucked around, and everybody in America found out. And we saw you just for what you were. A bunch of bullies, a bunch of bully boys that want to intimidate and beat up and kill. And you want the freedom to do it without any consequence. The people that beat up those cops January 6th and killed them. They went to prison, but they got off scot-free because every last one of them got pardoned. Now a bunch of them are ICE agents. And a bunch of them have gone out and committed crimes and got arrested again. A couple of them have ended up getting themselves killed in the middle of a crime that they were committing. They were not prisoners of war. They were criminals. Insurrectionists that tried to overthrow the government. So overthrowing the government with an insurrection didn't work. So Donald Trump did what he's done in the past, talks a great word salad full of nonsense, gets everybody else parroting what he's saying, intimidates the media so that the media falls in line with him. Puts pressure on the television channels so that they get rid of anybody that says anything against him. Y'all think that's great? You think it's good? Where was the outrage when President Obama was in office and y'all were hanging effigies? You know, hanging mannequins in trees with Obama's name on them, threatening to kill him. Was there any outrage from y'all folks? No, because Obama was black. And y'all don't like black folk any more than Donald Trump does. Where was the outrage when all the threats were against Joe Biden? He's white. Oh, but he's Catholic. And y'all are Protestant. Y'all are conservative evangelical Christians. So he wasn't your type of white person, right? Where's the wisdom in how you're behaving? The Bible talks an awful lot, and you guys, you say you follow the Bible, but I don't see it. The Bible talks an awful lot about how we're supposed to treat each other, how our lives are supposed to bring glory to the Almighty, how we're supposed to be kind and compassionate towards others, about having control over our emotions and control over the way we act. Where's that? Calling down bears on people because somebody said something that insulted you? Seen a lot of people use that particular passage to justify treating others hatefully. That's not what that passage was about. We all use natural disasters to say that God hates who you don't like. And it's because people are gay or women are making the choice to have an abortion or this thing or that thing or the other thing. Y'all twist the Bible to mean all kinds of things it doesn't say. You want it to apply to us who live in America. The Bible was written by, for, and about the people that live in a very small postage stamp sized area of the world. Everything in the Bible happened in that little small circle between Egypt and to the north, the country to the north of Israel, and Jordan and the Mediterranean Gulf. It happened in that little small area, little postage stamped area that you could walk across in like 2 weeks if you started from Egypt, from the northernmost town in Egypt, and walked all the way to the end of that little peninsula. You could do it in 2 weeks, just doing 20 or 30 miles in a day at a slow march. That's about the size of Tulsa. Land-wise, Tulsa County, which has about 5 or 6 towns in it total, the biggest one being Tulsa. But, you know, Tulsa or Oklahoma City, land-wise. You're not looking at a great, big, huge part of the world. And the United States wasn't even dreamed of back then. That's why it's not in the Bible. There's not any place that specifically relates to the United States in the Bible, except possibly the one thing on Wings of Eagles that Israel would be brought back. I know that was the scripture that was used to justify putting all the Jews in the land of Palestine and giving them a small portion of it, which they have expanded upon ever since, and have been committing a genocide ever since 1948 or so, whenever they were given that land. And the reason they were given that land was because they were being such a total bunch of assholes and causing so much trouble everywhere else. Nobody wanted them. But then they justify that way. And they justify every amount of money they're spending and everything that they're doing that's pro-Israel by a scripture that says, blessed are they that bless Israel. That's how Israel got such a big fucking hold on the rest of the world. It was one little scripture that they could use that hold over everybody's head. That's what we voted for, isn't it? We voted for it. When Donald Trump was in Israel, in the temple, wasn't that a prophecy being fulfilled about the Antichrist? The abomination being seen in the temple? Interesting. So, yeah, I guess I better get started working on this and doing my thing for the day. And let's see. Which color should be next of the two that I've got set out to work on it next? Should I go back to this one for a little bit, or should I go to this one? I'll go with this one. But yeah, I'm just getting ready to, because there's like that much. Not even a full row left of that color. So I'm switching colors. And it'll take me maybe a day or two. Just go a couple more rows with that color. And I gotta find another color. Keep doing until I get this the size I want it to be. I did when I was in my 20s, it took me about a year to do it, a king-size blanket, granny square, that was done in orange and yellow and pink and white. Took me a full year to do it. But boy, was I proud of myself when it was done. It was absolutely beautiful. I wish I still had that thing. When I got divorced from my first husband, I lost it, along with most of everything else I owned. There was a situation that happened that everything got stolen. I don't know. Folks, babies getting tear gassed. Babies getting tear gassed? That's acceptable to you? To anyone? I've seen babies in Gaza who were horribly maimed by white phosphorus grenades and bombs when Israel was shooting on them. I've seen so many horrendous things happen in war. We're not at war with anybody else. Trump's at war with Venezuela. Trump personally, not us. Trump is at war with his own citizens. We should not be at war with each other. Think about that. babies being tear gassed. I love y'all. I hope that y'all are making the right decisions about your life. Have a good week.